Alright. Screen went black for you guys before it went black for me. This is a work of fiction with no relations to groups. Yeah, because CERN isn't really evil. Okay, that's on me. My volume's just too high. Oh, real quick hand. Should we skip the OP? Yes, we should skip the OP. Okay, thank you. You've got to be shitting me. What the hell? What was the point of me setting up the damn controller scheme if it doesn't work? I can just do that? Wicked. So far, this is fine, I think. Woo! Wait. Is there going to be an opening movie where I have to read alongside the speed of the message and it basically is in auto mode? Like there was with Chaos Child and we missed, or Chaos Head, and we missed the entire fucking movie because I had my message speed so goddamn high? I'm gonna assume yes, and for now we'll leave it low and then we'll fix it afterwards. It's just totally ignoring the controller. Let's see if reloading the game fixes it, because it usually does. Okay, those are all responding properly, so hopefully it works now. That's okay. First day with a new VN always is like this. It just randomly loaded a new thing. Gotta be real, this opening terrifies me. Welcome back, Chase. This is Chaos Child. This opening terrifies me too, don't worry. It's not just you. What the fuck? Yeah. Okay, we'll hope it works once the game starts, otherwise it's... November 6th, 2009 AD, 10:28 p.m. Okay, it does not. So... It came without warning. Looks like fun. It was a magnitude 7.8 earthquake with an epicenter directly under the city. So I'm assuming we're in Shibuya again. This disaster reduced one of Tokyo's busiest downtown areas to nothing in a single night. The high-rise buildings that had birthed so many trends and fads collapsed, as if giving up on their role in society. Black fires spread through the city. As individuals fell into the grip of the crowd's psychology, their terror was magnified. Combined, all of these things took many lives. Final death toll was 3,851. The final number of injured, 30,927. This event would later be known as the Shibuya earthquake. Even in all that destruction, people still suffered the most in their hearts. Some who had lost their families came together to share new resolve, while others who'd been forced to watch their friends die were driven by guilt to take their own lives. As a baby was miraculously reunited with its parents after 72 hours, a child in an evacuation shelter asked her dad, when's mommy coming home? He had no answer. Yeah, it's a science adventure game. There is no fun to be had here. Some of the wounded made it to hospitals by looking at real-time updates on the web. Others saw people on the internet talking about the disaster as if it were a movie and were driven mad. A homeless man was saved from malnutrition by an organized volunteer group, but at the same time a middle school boy punched a self-centered volunteer who'd come to Shibuya to find himself in the face. It was the first time in that boy's life he'd ever been violent. The psychological toll was incredible, and many of the survivors would later manifest symptoms similar to those associated with PTSD. The young were hit the hardest, and before long, the cause of those symptoms was given a name: Chaos Child Syndrome. Yeah, no shit indeed. It's almost like having PTSD will make you start to have PTSD symptoms. Crazy how that works. They said the name of the game, roll credits. Rebuilding happened at a feverish pitch never seen before. Yeah, because it's Shibuya. It felt inappropriate to say hang in there, but people felt that somebody had to do something. The new slogan was Shibuya, a city reborn, and no amount of money or manpower was spared in aiding the endeavor. The whole town was in the grip of a fever. In private, a leader of the redevelopment efforts said, "This may sound unkind, but this frenzy feels like a town burying its grief by holding a festival." Building codes were rigorously evaluated with an eye toward earthquake engineering. I wonder if that'll help. Perhaps in an effort to emphasize the city's safety, security cameras were put up all over town. Shibuya would become a place where everyone could live in peace. But at the same time, a rumor began to spread about the earthquake. Something about this earthquake doesn't make sense. There were no aftershocks, and the damage had spread in a strange way. Harajuku and Ebisu, areas only a kilometer away from Shibuya, suffered few casualties and even fewer collapsed buildings. This damage pattern had never been observed in any prior earthquake, and so more than a few pundits claimed the Shibuya earthquake must have been artificial. It's gotten to the point where it's bugging me. That didn't take long at all. More than anything, some of the survivors all said the same things. I saw a white light. I heard a sound like a ringing in my ears. Too many people experienced this for anyone to laugh it off, but no cause of those phenomena was ever found. It was just more evidence to those who believed that something about the earthquake had been wrong. We of course know that that earthquake was in fact manufactured. Then, 6 years after the strange earthquake, in 2015, something else was about to attract attention in the reborn city of Shibuya. Okay. September 7th, 2015, Sunday night. Okay, I'm gonna take 3 minutes for questions. Get to it. The second he spoke, the comment box started to fill. The biggest problem is I have a slight tick in my right middle finger that makes it so it sometimes clicks at the same time as my left finger, or as my index finger, and that makes it so I right click and it opens the menu, and then I gotta wait for the menu to open and I gotta reclose the menu, and it's just frustrating while I'm streaming to have that keep happening. Anyone who's watched me has probably noticed. It doesn't happen often enough that it's like legitimately like accessibility problem, but it's just annoying enough for me to notice it, and it annoys me. And with a mouse that isn't a problem because it's only my thumb that interacts with all buttons. Ootani Yuma watched it for a few seconds and then saw the request. When does Haru tell us she's dating somebody? He smiled to himself. Makes fishing in Animal Crossing so hard, I imagine. Anyone who's watched me play Hades knows what I'm talking about. Just what he wanted. Most of their quests were about hot actors or cute idols. His audience was so stupid that it was easy to tell exactly what they were going to ask. Is that Yago? The problem was always whether the name that came up was someone he knew. That was a question of luck and of how popular they were. But Haru, her full name was Haruko or something or other, that she was fine. Just a few days ago, he'd forced himself to go to an event he'd rather have skipped and seen it for himself. Okay. Satisfied, Ootani got up to get some snacks like he always did. He lived in a one-bedroom condo located 8 minutes from Shibuya Station. Cost 150,000 yen per month. It had been built after the earthquake, so the furnishings and layout were modern. I mean, he did say he lives 8 minutes walk from Shibuya Station. That's like living in downtown LA. I kind of understand. No, it's 1,500 a month. Wait, you're right, isn't it? No, it's 1,500 a month. But still, Jesus Christ, that's expensive. It's probably cheap for that area, though. Because it, like I said, 8 minutes walk from Shibuya Station. That's like living in downtown fucking LA. Or like, just off of... Like, that's like living just off of Manhattan Square. We're not too far into it. The only thing you've missed... 1,500. Oh, 1,500 is like cheap for San Fran. Yeah. Yeah, we just started. I've been fighting with, controller and shit for the last hour. Trying to make my controller work, because I hate using mouse and keyboard for visual novels. But welcome, Whiskey. A little more room would have been nice, but compared to the 40,000 yen per month place he'd lived in last year, it was heaven. I imagine? I feel like if you live in a 40,000 yen per month place in Shibuya, you literally live in a closet. And it's not even your closet. It's a closet that is attached to somebody else's apartment. You have to pay 40,000 yen per month to live in somebody else's closet to hide there while they're at work. Yeah, exactly. You're renting your neighbor's closet. Next year, maybe I'll move somewhere more convenient. At 21 years old, Ootani felt satisfied for the first time in his life. Dude, this guy does not look 21. He looks 45 at least. In 4th grade, he'd gotten big into online gaming and stopped going to school. Eventually, he'd stopped leaving his room altogether. Then he'd gotten addicted to drugs that made him sleepy but did nothing else. Fuck. This game is really gonna piss me off with the little shit it does. Once seeing only darkness in his future, he'd planned to commit suicide. In the chaos after the earthquake 6 years ago, he'd finally managed to leave his room, but his family had already given up on him. After he failed his entrance exams, he went to live on his own in Shibuya and hadn't spoken to his parents since. As far as they knew, he'd failed the exams 3 times in a row. In fact, he hadn't even gone to the tests after the first time. There wasn't anything he wanted to learn in college, or any companies he wanted to work for badly enough. He had no goal in life at all. This music is super, incongruous with the with the story right now. It's like do 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 do, and the dude's like, I was gonna kill myself in 4th grade. I have no goal in life. I'm a failure. But things were different now. Maybe Atchan does tell the truth sometimes. Guess I'll have some cheese. What? He took a block of cheap cheese he'd bought at the supermarket out of the fridge. The music's not paying attention to the story. That makes 2 of us. I hate that. I don't like this dude already. He's boring. Let's get somebody cool in here. Somebody with a big fucking sword. Usually he never ate anything this cheap. But on Nikonia's live streaming, it wasn't just what you said. How you looked when you said it also mattered. Owatani wasn't a good-looking man, let alone a cute girl. He was just a plain old guy, and so to keep his program popular, he needed to make them think that he was poor, barely managing to scrape by, in fact. That's why he kept the area around his PC and the parts of his apartment that you could see with his webcam completely plain. Last month, he'd finally reached his goal of 4,000 viewers. Shit! Is that what we need to do, is just turn on the webcam and make my room look poor? I don't have to do nothing. All I'd have to do is figure out why my webcam hasn't worked lately. For a man with nothing going for him like Owatani, this was extremely unusual. 3 months ago, he'd guessed the winners of a popularity contest the certain idol group was holding, as well as their total number of votes. That must have really paid off. Oh, that's why people come to his stream, because he's a gigalomaniac and can literally predict the future. Okay, what he's doing isn't predicting the future. He's literally altering reality to make the future happen the way he predicts. But he probably doesn't know that. After that, his numbers had been going up steadily. Late last month, when his streams had appeared at the top of Nikonia's page, he'd seen a huge increase. Right now, he'd gotten above 4,500, and it was quite possibly break 5,000 by the end of the month. It was around late last year when he'd started to wonder about his power. It was a certain rumor on one of Atchan's occult boards that made him really start to realize what he had. The name he'd chosen for his stream subtly reflected this. Today I learned I can see the future. He took out a knife to cut the cheese. It took all of my willpower not to make a fart joke. There was a strange sound. That was just somebody knocking at your door. That's not strange. I mean, it might be strange for you. You don't look like you have friends. He thought he'd just imagined it when... Knock, 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 knock. He heard it again. I can predict the future, bruh. It was coming from the door. Someone was clearly knocking on his door. It's Naruse. Huh? Jungle, maybe? What the f... I don't know what button actually opens the... It was insert, right? Yeah. Nope. It wasn't insert. Was it... It wasn't 1. But we can do it this way. An American online shop. Oh, it's Amazon. I get it. I was trying to remember the direct to tips hotkey, but this works too. Suspicious, he walked toward the door to answer, then checked the clock. It was 11:41 p.m. Not exactly normal delivery hours. Oh, come on, I'm streaming right now. He tried to ignore it. But... The knocking continued. It was the same rhythm, at the same pace. As if the visitor's goal wasn't to come inside, but simply to make that sound. Owatani felt a little bit creeped out. He decided to go to the intercom camera and see who it was, but then realized that would be pointless. Only the auto-locking door on the first floor had a camera. The door to Owatani's room on the 5th floor had an intercom, but no camera. Oh, Otani gave up. Damn it. If you want something, push the intercom button. It's taking all of my willpower not to give this dude Terry's voice. Knock, 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 knock. Maybe it's a drunk. No, the knocks were too steady for that. And there was no voice yelling at him to open up. He'd seen this door a million times, but suddenly it looked somehow different. Someone he didn't know was on the other side of the wall, demanding entry in the middle of the night. Somehow this made the door seem intimidating. Otani thought he might look through the peephole to see who was outside. He was then disgusted to find himself too scared to even get close to the door. Wait, the intercom didn't have a camera, but it did have a microphone. He turned toward the living room so he could use the intercom and find out what they wanted. Oh, Otani, it's me. Sorry to come by so suddenly. He stopped when he heard that voice. Hey, Fo, welcome to the stream. How are you? It's me. I'm very sorry to bother you at this hour. Otani tried to remember who the speaker was, but found he couldn't. That's suspicious as fuck. But from the tone of the voice and the words, they probably weren't a weirdo. When they said I'm sorry, it sounded like they really meant it. Otani sighed softly with relief and then realized he was still carrying the knife he had been using to cut cheese. It suddenly felt stupid to feel so nervous. He quickly laid the knife on top of the sink. Right, I'll open it now. Who is it? It's me, don't you remember? The voice simply repeated itself. But who are you? Oh, Otani whispered to himself as he opened the door. This is the part where he's gonna get fucked up. I'm alright. Already behind in work, so I'm just here for some sort of background noise. I might chat later when I'm done with work, but that's unlikely because of how much I get distracted. That's understandable. Well, we'll be here if you want to chat about anything. I appreciate you swinging by either way. Oh, Otani narrowed his eyebrows at the people standing there. He looked them up and down, and then looked at their faces again. Their eyes met. Who are you guys? Oh, Otani suddenly felt a piercing headache. Otani closed his eyes and put his right hand up to his temple. He could feel the blood pounding in his veins through his fingers. He staggered and quickly put his other hand against the wall to keep from falling over. Yeah, I understand. The pain was like the old days when he'd overdosed on antidepressants, but much more intense. He gritted his teeth against the pain and dug his nails into the wall that was holding him up, as he waited for the pain in his fingers to help dull the pain in his mind. Mr. Otani, are you okay? He heard a voice he'd heard many times before, and felt a concerned hand on his shoulder. He somehow managed to ignore the pain and open his eyes. A worried face was peering down at him. Yeah, I'm fine. This just happens sometimes lately. Overwork, perhaps? You've been so busy lately. You shouldn't push yourself too hard. You're always such a worrier. I'm fine. Come in. He does not know these people. He opened his mouth as wide as he could and moaned, trying to ease the pain as he led his important guests inside. As he turned his back on his guests, he told himself that it had been a long time since he'd seen them. Or maybe not. It couldn't have been more than 2 months since they'd last met. It only felt long because he'd wanted to see them so badly. Oh, right. It was nice of you to come by, but I'm streaming. While he was out here, he decided he would cut some cheese for himself and his guests. Oh, don't worry about us. No, I can't do that to you guys. What's wrong? No, it's nothing. The blade wasn't cutting into the cheese. That's strange, he told himself as he pushed down with more force. He cut into its surface, and it made an unpleasant sound he'd never heard before. But no matter how hard he pushed, it wouldn't go further. Please, no CG. That's all I ask. I know what's happened. Just don't give us a CG. I know I don't ask that very often. But this one time, can you not give us a CG? Confused, he yanked the knife back and forth like a saw, but it only cut in slightly deeper. It was as if there was something hard inside the cheese. And even though he'd only just taken it out of the fridge, it was slightly warm. Damn it, what's going on with this thing? Irritated, he slammed the handle of the knife against the cheese. But all it did was bash it in a little. He couldn't cut through it. Yes, cheese knives tend to have problems cutting through bones. I mean, if you... Where there's a will, there's a way, but... God damn it. I'll help you. His guests must have heard the sound because they rushed over. They had another knife. Where did they get that out? There's a trick to cutting this thing. That was a sound. What's wrong with our boy? Our boy is having his reality warped by the people at the door, I'm pretty sure. They put the knife up against the cheese and began to move it with a practiced hand. It sounds like your work is going well. They smiled at Owatani, their voices slightly low. Owatani realized that they were trying to keep their voices from being picked up by the streaming microphone and lowered his voice as well. Yeah. He grinned and nodded. His guest had introduced him to a firm that handled advertising space for popular websites, which had been giving him regular work. This is not the background noise I was hoping for. Nope. His reputation had quietly spread throughout the small web advertising industry, and soon he was getting more and more offers. This job's all about predicting trends, so it's perfect for me. I can't lose. Then why do these streams? It's hard to say. I guess you could say I'm trying to see how far I can go. That's right. His power wasn't meant to be wasted on jobs that anyone could do. No one's done this before, so I can't ask anybody about it, you know? So I want to do everything I can by myself, or am I sounding like a show-off? No, it's wonderful, and I think, and done. After he'd smacked it a few times, the cheese was a little funny looking, but the even slices were lined up neatly on the plate. No, 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 no. Sorry to make you help like that. It's nothing. Go on. I'll wait until your stream is finished. Thanks. If you want something from the fridge, grab it. Oh, but be quiet. Owatani took his cheese back to his seat and saw a flood of comments reading, "He's late, and did he log off?" What should have been only 3 minutes had turned into more than 15. Owatani put a bite of the cheese in his mouth and began to chew loudly. So sorry about this cheese on sale, and it's just so incredibly hard. He apologized to the camera, remembering to keep up the act of being poor and starving. Who eats an entire cheese? Apparently this dude. As he hoped, the comments started to come in. Wasn't this the plot of some new movie? Nico Nia is always like this, right? Reported this broadcast will end soon. Yup, those are some proteins right there. That's why nobody likes Nico Nia. Owatani's face took on a confused expression. The comments were strange. He thought there might be something on the camera, but he turned around and saw only his fake poor room. Is something wrong? He spoke into the camera, but the comments still didn't make any sense, and they were coming in faster. Maybe there was a problem with the camera. He reached his right hand out toward it. In an instant, his headache was back. This is where his reality that he sees is conflicting with the real reality. It was the same pain as before, no worse. He closed his eyes and jerked forward, banging his head against the desk, but the pain in his head was so bad that he didn't even feel it. He tried to hold his head in his hands, but for some reason his right hand wouldn't move, so instead he pushed his other hand up against his temple. It felt squishy. The vein was incredibly swollen and it felt like rubber. And each time he felt his blood pulse through it, there was an unpleasant sensation in his fingers. He stamped his feet against the floor, hoping to find some small escape from the pain. But it didn't even get slightly better. It was then that he realized he was crying. He could feel the tears coming from his eyes. The pain was moving there now, too. Unable to bear it, he opened his eyes. He gasped. You guys think this is cool? You're sick. I know how you feel, man, but what the hell? Let's calm down, guys. Nico Nii is filled with weirdos. He gasped. The whole scene appeared in front of him like some kind of awful magic trick. Oh, what's going on? He suddenly heard the sound of something wet dripping onto the floor. His eyes reflectively turned toward it. His right arm was gone at the elbow, and the stump was gushing blood. There was a pool of it on the floor, and the sound he heard was the new blood splattering into it. Huh? Otani didn't understand what had happened to him. What was going on? He'd just gone to check on a knock at the door. The pain screamed within him. What a shit show. Any sense of pain in what remained of his right arm was overcome by the pain in his head. He felt nothing from his arm at all, though he saw the blood dripping to the floor. What the hell was going on? He blinked and forced his aching eyes to function as he looked around the room. On top of his desk, he found the rest of his arm. He was sitting on a plate. At first it looked like it was still in one piece, but it wasn't. It was neatly sliced into uniform pieces. Each piece was about a centimeter wide, and the slices moved neatly toward his fingers. They sat upon the plate in roughly his arm's original shape. Miraculously, he saw there was no blood on the tip of his index finger. He still didn't understand that it was really his own arm, but sheer disgust at what he saw caused him to leap out of his chair. What was this? What kind of prank was this? The contents of his stomach flooded into his mouth. He vomited. The pink fluid splashed against the desk. He saw something solid in the middle of it. It was a thumb. It was covered in bite marks, saliva, and stomach acid, but horribly he remembered it. What? When had he put that into his mouth? In his pain-filled mind, he suddenly heard a sound he'd never heard before. Each time he heard the sound, the pain in his head got worse. He turned toward the camera, hoping for an answer to what was happening. But of course, there was none to be found. The screen was still filling with comments, but his eyes were too filled with tears for him to read them. As the whole world turned red, Otani didn't even realize that his lips were turning purple. His lips had turned purple from lack of oxygen, but were stained red with blood from his severed thumb, which he had chewed himself. That's one way to give views, I suppose. I mean, if we gotta, let me figure out how to turn on my webcam and get the knife. As he tried to fight the pain, he began to fall unconscious and tears fell from his eyes. The tears seemed pink to him. Otani was weeping blood. He died, still facing the camera. His guests watched the chain of events unfold and silently headed for the door. Just before they left the room. Goodbye, they said, as if nothing at all was wrong, and shut the door. He doesn't look like he's doing so well. This is quite a bit saucier than usual. Fuck me. September 19th, 2015, Friday night. Whiskey's like, I can finally talk now. I can finally type again now that I have both hands free. This is not okay. This is chaos. This is the Chaos series in a nutshell. It always starts out really, really, really hard hitting and kind of slowly reduces from there. Like, Chaos had started, and within 5 minutes of the start of the game, the main character, mind you, the good guy, was imagining poisoning his sister, and then while she choked on her own blood, staring at her panties. So, honestly, this is probably an upbeat for this part of the Science Adventure series. Whiskey right up my alley. Exactly. Phew. Taki Yanagi Momone had finished her concert. Like always, she stayed behind to help put away the instruments. She even helped clean up the audience seats, even though that was the concert hall's job. On happier news, I managed to extract the movie files for Robotics Notes, so that's nice. That's good, I think. Only after all of that was done could she take a break. Tara played Chaos Shot for inspiration when working on Up All Night. Explains a lot. Yeah. Yeah. There wasn't much time left before a solo street concert, but she still had to help anyway. She'd always been like that. Even if it wasn't her responsibility, she couldn't help but get involved. It was like in middle school when one of her friends who wasn't as good at studying asked her for test notes. Or in high school when a girl she knew asked her how to make Valentine's chocolate for a boy she really liked. I could have taught her that. She'd stayed up so many nights her own test grades were worse than her friends, and she didn't even have anyone to give chocolate to on Valentine's Day. In the end, it was the other person's responsibility, not hers, but... Basically, I'm just a huge wuss. Taki Yanagi Momone was at heart scared of not doing everything she could, even if everything wasn't her responsibility. The concert today was another big success. Ah, that makes sense. Sure, it was a tiny room that could only fit in 150 people or so. Standing room only. But tickets were 3,000 yen, high for a band with an amateur vocalist like her, and they still sold out instantly. It was bizarre how excited the crowd was. She'd heard sobs during the ballad, and during one of the high-tempo songs, the audience had stood up all the way to the back row. This is impossible. She felt a chill and hugged herself tightly. It's not that her band wasn't popular. They'd started out in Nikoniya Sang It category and had kept going by doing covers of popular anime songs. It helped that her face, which had earned her the nickname Scarecrow in school, could look really good when she wore makeup. Okay. And if all of them put on ridiculous costumes and act like idiots, some people would enjoy that. Videos of their concerts and performances pulled a decent number of views online, but Taki Yanagi noticed. The vast majority of the people looking at the videos were people who'd come to her concerts. People who'd experienced that insane intensity were going back to the videos to try and feel it again. And Takayanagi knew that they probably wouldn't even feel 1% of it. It's just impossible. The ticket prices and audience sizes were one thing, but the strangest thing to her was their eyes. I see. Their eyes pierced right through her, unblinking. They were like pets, totally dependent on their master. The meaning of the lyrics began to take over their lives, and they never even questioned it. No, Nico Nia is YouTube. There has to be something wrong with my voice. When she first realized that this was happening, she tried to quit the band. Let's end YouTube. Do it. Let's do it. I'm down. Fuck YouTube. Even if she couldn't, she at least wanted to stop doing the live shows where people heard her directly. But the others around her wouldn't let that happen. Your voice is amazing, they would tell her. They forced her to keep singing, even as the concerts began to terrify her. Takayanagi tried to get out of it, but in the end, she kept giving in. She owed her fellow band members for getting a plain, dull girl like her into music. And for a while, part of her managed to have fun. But in the end, Takayanagi lacked the tiny bit of courage needed to break out of the cycle. She forced herself to get up and head toward the street concert, which she didn't really want to do. Okay, Cryos. She'd received an email. She read it slowly. No way. She almost dropped her smartphone. She read it again and again, trying to control her shaking hands. It was nothing special, just a simple message about one of the songs she'd made. Good song. Keep it up. No way. Takayanagi tried to stop the tears, but couldn't. The band would get too many messages like this to count, especially after concerts. She knew it was rude, but to be honest, she was sick of them. But this email address wasn't for her band, it was one for a site where she had anonymously uploaded original songs. In other words, whoever sent this message hadn't come to her concerts. They'd never heard her voice live or felt its strange power. But they had still said they liked her song. Really? Wiping away tears that wouldn't stop, she quickly wrote a response. That makes me really happy, thank you. Even after she sent it, she kept crying for a while. She hadn't cried this much since the earthquake. And then she stood up. Stupid things. She took her costumes for the day's concert out of her bag, balled them up, and threw them in the trash. It was a white caped outfit worn by some angel character in some anime. Certain fans really loved it, but she didn't care about it at all. She took a wet towel off a nearby table and violently wiped away her makeup. I think I'm okay with being a scarecrow. She was never wearing another cape or putting on makeup to look like an anime character again. Never, she said aloud. She realized she was more excited than she'd ever been before. And then she started to realize what she wanted to do. I guess I could just leave Shibuya. I'm sure things are going to get messy here. They are. What would happen if she said she was going to quit the band? It'd cause trouble for a lot of people, definitely. Her band was scheduled to play in the Restoration Festival. But even so, she never wanted to sing at another concert. I shouldn't use the street where I've done shows, or my fans will see me. Wait, I'll be fine with this face. She laughed and kissed her smartphone. Oh wow, this is so much fun. She couldn't wait to get home and start fiddling with her music. Over the web, she could really share her music with others. As long as they weren't hearing her voice live, it would be fine. If she just played a recording from a speaker, for example. I've got a small speaker in my house, don't I? That's right. She'd leave Shibuya, and then when she had a few more songs, she could record them and play them at a street concert. That speaker was small enough that she could fit it under her clothes to fool people. It would be rude to do the same song every time, so each time she'd re-record it at home. Here we go again. There was a knock at the door. One of the staffers, maybe? Oh, I'm coming. She smiled and answered them. Now that she'd thrown away her clothes, her bag was lighter than she'd ever imagined it could be. That lightness made her think about the future. She was happy. Knock, 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 knock. Coming. Taki Yanagi happily danced toward the door, completely ignorant of what was on the other side. This is 4 days later. September 19th, 2015, Friday night. Shortly after she finished, she was walking through Shibuya. She had a limp and dragged one leg behind her as if it was injured. Her bangs were unnaturally long, most of her face was covered by them. She wore a dark-colored dress that seemed to melt into the night, and above it a bright red cardigan. Her chest, arms, and legs were almost completely covered. Despite the fact that the night was still warm, she wore gloves as if it were a sin to show any skin at all. Oh, sorry. She ran into a couple coming out of a hotel and staggered slightly. But she didn't even look at the people she ran into. She looked down and disappeared into the streets of Shibuya. What was that? Man, talk about creepy. Hey, did you see her face? Huh? Why? It was so weird. What was that? Those eyes were so weird. Chapter 1, Digital Native. The right sider connects the cases. Hey, we're gonna finally meet our protagonist. Presumably. Miyashiro Takeru. Yeah, this must be the protagonist. It's Taku again. It's just a different Taku. For example, let's say you asked a kid in middle school, do you know what Schrodinger's cat is? Most would say yes, or I've heard of it. We'll start by eliminating the DQNs who say they've never heard of it. Next you ask, well, what is it? Next, we eliminate those poor fools who say it's something about a cat in a box, right? Or there's this cat, but you don't know if it's alive or dead, right? Or maybe they say there's a cat in a box, and next to it there's a device that may or may not give off poison gas. You don't know if the cat's alive or dead till you open the box. Everybody knows that. We can eliminate these show-offs as well. Anybody from these groups is a wrong-sider. The right answer would be to describe this experiment and then say it was a thought experiment proposed by Schrödinger to criticize the quantum mechanical theory that state collapse only occurs after human observation. But barely anyone can do that. And I'd imagine that I'm the only guy who's still in high school who knows that Schrödinger got the idea after exchanging letters with Einstein. I hate wrong-siders. Hold on, I'm gonna adjust some things real quick. I want sound and I want sound effect volume to go down a little bit. It's a little loud. I have a feeling this is going to be loud too. BGM seems more or less fine. My, he thinks highly of himself. Yeah, you get used to that from all science adventure protags. Remember how bad Kaito was? Kaito was the best out of all of them so far. I'd taken a break from investigating the 2 incidents that had occurred recently in Shibuya and was paging through some at-channel blog aggregators for a change of pace. Kaito wasn't too bad. He was not, but he was the best of all of them, which is sad, because he still wasn't great. As always, articles about bad idols and corporations with terrible work environments were getting tons of hits. It was hard to believe that the crash of 15, a huge news story that had just happened this month, was already off the front pages. Ooh. We know what that is. That was the big... the big power outage that fucked up everything from the solar storm. They talked about it as like a history lesson in robotics notes. Did the people reading and commenting on these sites realize that everything they read about corporations and idols was carefully controlled? Did they know that most of the big aggregator sites are corporations too? Did they realize the comments were all manipulated to go one direction or the other? Kids our age were living in a world where all the information you could ever want was right at your fingertips. To those of us in the enlightened generation, ignorance was the worst sin. The ignorant were self-righteous, easily manipulated, and eager to push their paper-thin worldview onto others. They were nothing but a nuisance. The worst of the lot were the so-called otaku. I couldn't stand otaku. They were wrong-siders. Take the picture on the cover of this magazine. It was from Bloodtoon. Hey look, gun barrel. Any otaku who just watched it for the cute characters was a loser. I have to wonder how far out Shiyomaru plans his storylines. I almost feel like he has the whole entire series outlined across the board and is just following the outline from here. There was no point in watching the show if you were going to ignore its deeper themes. I couldn't stand people who still held to the old-fashioned idea that only otaku watched anime, but people who ignored a show's themes and just watched it for the cuteness were even worse. They were ignoring the implicit social criticism hidden in... What? I stared at the magazine in amazement. Specifically, I stared at the box that listed the next episode previews. The text said that Eren was missing. Idiots. Damn it, I'd let my guard down because I knew this episode was written by the guy who wrote the original manga. The original author doesn't know anything about his own work. How could you remove Eren from the story halfway through? Not keeping her around meant bringing all the internal drama that had been built up so far to a halt. This dude is almost as chuny as fucking Okabe. God damn it. So much for my change of pace. I knew I had work to do on the case, but I'd put it away because I couldn't find any link between the two crimes. I thought for a moment that took my magazine from its secret stash. Cool gal. No, Cool Cat. It was an issue of an older magazine called Cool Cat Press. People called it a dating guide for normies, written by someone who'd never dated a girl in his life, but you'd be surprised. Have a good night, Cryo. Sleep well, and I hope to see you again soon. Magic words to make any girl fall in love with you. If those exist, could someone please tell me what they are? Stupid. I knew it was stupid, but... When I ran an internet search for their first #1 phrase, nothing came back. And that was the thing. The fact that it didn't show up on the internet meant to me that it was worth something. I'll buy you food. Yeah, I always try I'll make you food, but the results just aren't the same. I know this is extraordinarily selfish of me, but may I fall in love with you? That's awful. That's almost as bad as my pun from earlier. By the way, for those who weren't there, and those who were there, because I didn't actually tell anybody what the pun was. The pun was, I was going to say to buy you, I was going to be like, from now on, I'm going to call you Bow You, because you a dumpling. Please don't tell her I said that. I told you it was awful whiskey. With who? He said that out loud and there was somebody here. Well, what are you doing? I turned to yell at the voice. Hand, I need a bare minimum of personality traits here so I know what voice to use. Is she the resident tsundere? Is she the hyper cutie? No, she's the childhood friend. Is there a hyper cutie? Because childhood friend I usually use a hyper cutie voice for. Like Mayuri's voice. I'd say she's also the cutie, but I'm not sure. Okay. I feel like looking at the characters, the girl with the bows and twin tails is probably a tsundere. So I probably should save that voice for her. And I feel like there was at least one cool beauty that I want to save my normal baseline girl voice for. And this girl does not seem shy at all. This is gonna be weird doing the high pitch voice for everybody. Huh? Onoe, when did you get here? Please tell me that is not her given name. Holy shit. I hid my favorite magazine behind my back and tried to calm my racing heart. Oh, never mind. Also, can we talk about these uniforms? I know this has come up before. Inhale the salad feeling a touch better. That's unusual because last I checked, lungs do not have the ability to process greens and calories, but at least you are feeling better. But yes, this has come up on my stream before. Specifically, I believe when I was bitching about how bad the school uniforms in Chaos Head are. Can we talk how good this school uniform is? Like, it's just the right amount of like sailor girl, but then it's got like these little the thicker, the wider jacket here that like is built into it. The color scheme is fine, plus the little badge on the left breast. I really like this one. This one's real solid. It is a one piece. So yeah, it's a one piece. So this is even, these two pieces are even attached. Oh, that's good for me. The double button too. I'm a big fucking fan of the double button. Wait, there we go. Also, this girl's kind of cute. I'll take her. If this is True Root, I'm okay. As long as she isn't hyper annoying like Remy. Holy shit. She's aight. Yeah, she's not Remy, but she's not like Maho or Kozupi either. So even if we've known each other since we were kids, don't just come in like that. He didn't say that out loud. He just thought that. I did knock. So what's that magazine? Anything interesting? It's nothing. I couldn't let her find out. This was bad. What's going on? Why are you wearing your school uniform? Didn't you go home? Serika frowned. You're the one who told me to go investigate the crime scenes for our club today. Huh. That's right. Here you go. More pictures from the crime scenes. Serika took a USB memory stick out of her purse. Oh, thanks. Could you transfer it to my computer for me while you're at it? Serika looked a little confused. That's rare. You've never let anyone touch your computer. Not really. You're allowed. She didn't seem to think much of it as she started to copy the data off. Okay, now's my chance. The RV was crammed, but there was a lot of space for storage. I pretended to make tea as I tried to find room on the top shelf. Okay, there's just enough room for one more magazine. And then I heard a pshoo pshoo sound like a small fart from behind me. I glanced back and saw that Serika was using the mouse with one hand and fiddling with her Garo Froggy Garoro strap with the other. This was my chance. The Garo Froggy Garoro strap was a soft vinyl cell phone strap I'd won in a candy contest when I was a kid. When you pushed its belly, it was supposed to go Garo Garo Garo. It turned out to be an incredibly rare prize that could fetch 100,000 yen at auction, but since I was a kid who didn't know any better, I gave it to Serika as a present. Serika seemed to really like it, and ever since she's carried it with her. Which, well, that was fine, but it was old and faded, and when you pressed its belly, air leaked out of its side and made a weird noise. It used to go Garo Garo, I think, but now it just made a strange whooshing sound. Ever since she was a kid, she'd had a habit of fiddling with it, especially when she was nervous or focused on something. In other words, she was focused on the computer. Now was my chance to hide it. I jammed the magazine onto the shelf and moved some things so she couldn't see it. Okay, so this is why it had to be Skull and couldn't be Mountain Dew for robotics notes, because it's Mountain Dew for Chaos Child. That's why. Want a Mountain Dew? Nah, don't waste it. I'm leaving in a second anyway. Okay, all done. There were quite a few files on the screen. You took a lot of pictures. Any luck? I didn't see anything new. What about you, Taku? Find anything new that connects the two cases? Storing camera pictures as JPEGs amateur. Alright, I'm back. What did you miss? You have missed almost nothing of the main story, Retro. You did miss a guy cut his own arm into thin slices and eat it on live stream, and you missed a bit with a singer who apparently has like a hypnotic voice, kind of like Fess did in the first in Chaos Head. And you missed like a small CG that showed off a long white-haired girl wearing like red and black, who is pretty fucking cute. Who might be relevant later, but I don't know. It is a different MC, but his name is Takuru versus Takumi from the first game. So apparently his childhood friend also calls him Taku, just like Rimi did in the first game. Unless I'm in hell and the main character is actually Taku, who's lost his memories and been like fucking warped, and this girl is actually Rimi and with the same thing going on, because that would actually be the worst thing that could possibly happen to me. So that would be yeah, that would be like the worst thing ever. But this girl is cute as fuck. She's not like Kozupi cute, but she's pretty fucking high up there so far. So we'll see if she's annoying. She's had like 6 lines. No. I shook my head, frustrated. Oh, I see. Well, let's not get frustrated yet. I'll see you in the club room tomorrow. Kozupi is like, you take that back. Kozupi is definitely fucking best girl in Chaos Head by a significant margin. Pink is usually me, but her hair and face feel too cutesy. I kind of like the way she's very animated. I'm not sure I'm a fan of her hair, like her hairstyle, but I like the way she's animated. Just as she was about to leave, I got an idea. Oh, Onoe. Are you talking about the Kozupi from the anime, though? Because that was way worse. Yeah, Kozupi from the anime was awful. That is accurate, but that was just that was because it was the anime. Chaos Head's anime art is actually painful to look at. It is. But even the VN didn't really do her justice. Her sprites could have been better, but I think her CGs were really good. I needed to double check my information. She was, in theory, a girl. I'm just gonna say, I'm pretty sure she's a girl in more than just theory. But of course, Takuru is gonna be a piece of shit, just like every other main character we've ever had. I'm just asking, but... Huh? Well, let's say someone asked you out. Just hypothetically, okay? What would you think if they said, I know this is extraordinarily selfish of me, but may I fall in love with you? I think I need to redo my bed I made for you of Kozupi. That's fine if you want to. I like it. I think it's pretty good. Presumably Kozue and the others get more screen time in Noah. She better. I was comparing my Tundi with Dulcie art and I just, wow. Your original Tundi is still, in my opinion, like, that was like the first of your new style. Like the first of your like high class, high tier everything. So like comparing Tundi with like anything before that is like, I don't even know. Like, there's a reason I've never switched my profile pic or my profile picture on Discord back. There is a reason for that. Is that what you were just saying? Never mind that. What do you think? Serica thought for a second. Is this person younger than me? Here we go again. It's gonna be one of those games. Oh, what? It does it for me? What? How many quick saves will it ever have? Oh, there actually might be enough too. Is it really gonna save at every one? That is so good. Oh my god, that's so good. Select between positive and negative using the Z or C and C keys. It does, but 48 isn't enough, sadly. Oof. Pain, Pecco. Will it start automatically overwriting old autosaves? If when I get to that point? Because if it does, okay, Chase. Yes, it overwrites the oldest autosave if there's none available. Okay, in that case, the oldest ones are the ones that I have to save manually, so they don't get overwritten. That would be accurate if I'm not mistaken. Alright, we're going to do this twice. We're going to do it twice. Because one is going to be the main save. Huh? Oh, but in this game I have to pick one. Okay. You know what? We've already had a really negative day with the story so far. Oh, it literally doesn't let me continue. I have to pick one. At least on this one, on this scene. Oh, it did eventually let me. Okay, it just took forever. I clicked 6 times before it finally let me skip it. Since they're being so polite. This is gonna be one of those games where we do none of them again. Wait. Is this particularly good if I take one or the other hand? Like last time you were nice enough to steer me down the road of Naname's dark end. I would like to see more of that kind of stuff. But the positives in the last game were awful. You might like the negative one here. Okay, I'll go with the negative one here. It'll be fun. Wait, you can change it halfway through. That's true, come to think of it. Why was it so polite, anyway? Maybe they are? I mean, never mind that. What do you think? Well, I think it's really polite, but nobody's ever asked me out, so I don't know. Anything else? Like, oh, how romantic. Not really. That would depend on the person, right? What's going on here, cool cat? It would depend on the person asking the question? Of course it would. Trigger on. My first illusion trigger. But wait a second. Serica just said it would depend on the person. Serica and I have known each other for a long time. We've been friends since we were little, and we still spend a lot of time with each other. Which means there's a good chance that she likes me. In other words, if I went for it, could I at least get a kiss? That's right. Cool Cat Press said the same thing. In October 10th, 1999 edition, it was a special titled How to Silence a Woman by Kissing Her. This fall, women are waiting for your kiss. Share an unbalanced kiss and fall in love. Do whatever it takes to trick her into kissing you. He who dares wins. What? Do whatever it takes to trick her into kissing you. Oh, no way. Just for a bit. Just for a bit, okay? Just for a bit what? I love this face. I grabbed a confused Serica and forced her down on the bed. Yeah. Just for a bit. Really, just for a little bit. He who dares he who dares wins. And they say kisses are magic. If I kissed Serica, maybe she'd fall in love with me. I wasn't sure I wanted Serica to fall in love with me, but it really felt like I was just grabbing the first girl that was available, but I just really wanted to kiss someone, and it didn't matter who. Let me kiss you, Onoe. I felt a strong shock along my left cheek. My head shook. I was seeing stars. Taku, you're creepy. Her words stabbed like daggers into my heart. All the excitement I'd felt was washed away in an instant. No, Onoe, I can't believe you. You're disgusting. So what, do you think since I'm nice enough to hang out with you, I'd be sure to let you kiss me? Hell no. Ow, don't kick me. I'm sorry. I don't care if you're sorry. What is your problem? You are so fucking creepy. Die. Kill yourself right now. Bite through your disgusting tongue and bleed to death, you piece of shit. That was pretty good. Taku, why are you pale and shaking all of a sudden? No reason. Forcing her to the bed was basically a crime. Bad idea, yeah. It's not like I'm not like your average teenager who only thinks about the opposite sex. If my simulation with Serica went that badly, trying it with any other girl was sure to end with me in handcuffs. Anyway, Taku, give me 500 yen. Huh? For what? Hush money? Wait. That was just a simulation. What are you talking about? 500 yen? Here, I forgot. She showed me the paper bag she was holding. I just ran it again. He gave me this. Said it was your usual. I paid him 500 yen for it. My usual? Confused, I took the bag from her. Gen's usual changed every time I talked to him, so I couldn't count on it. What was it today? In before it's a bag of hentai. That drunk old bastard. What's your usual? Nothing. Here, 500 yen. I forced 500 yen into her hands. Ignoring her persistent questions, I led her to the door. I'll see you at school tomorrow. Huh? Thanks for the pictures. They're a big help. Fine. Reluctantly, she left my room. Phew. Damn it. Sure, this was what I always bought from Gen. But the information in the last one was no good. What the heck was a cool cat, anyway? A cold cat? Is it cold because it's dead? 100 ways to secretly show your sexy side. No. I needed to hide this too. But I had so many of them now, I was running out of room on the top shelf. Ah! When I tried to force it in, a mountain of old papers came falling out. Damn it, no room, huh? What's this? It was an old scrapbook about the murders that had occurred 6 years ago in Shibuya. Oh. The new gen case. I'd bought it from Gen 2, come to think of it. I'd already scanned it, but had forgotten to throw out the original. How could I, of all people, be so lax with information? I just have to bundle it up with the rest of my collection. My eyes lingered for a second on the page. Come to think of it. I quickly ran over to my PC. I opened the files on the case that I'd been looking for. Seriously? My words were a whisper. I looked back at the scrapbook, then compared it to the data on the PC. There was no doubt. I kept looking at it, and it kept saying the same thing. But this... if my hypothesis was right... I'm sure even the police haven't noticed. Strange sumo stickers increasing in Shibuya. Lately, stickers with the face of a sumo wrestler on them have been appearing around Shibuya, commonly known as sumo stickers, and nobody knows who's putting them up or why. Everything about them is shrouded in mystery. You started seeing them on signs and guardrails all over Shibuya 5 or 6 years ago. There are a lot of other stickers put up by graffiti artists, but Shibuya, in particular, has a huge number of these sumo stickers. Some have speculated that they're a message from a terrorist group or perhaps a cult, but as of now, that's nothing but more than a hypothesis. When asked about the stickers, a 41-year-old man who worked at a Jinan Shibuya hair salon said, "They're creepy. I wish whoever it was would stop destroying the Shibuya landscape." Sometimes residents will take them down only to see them reappear later. Shibuya City Hall says, quote, "We are continuing our community outreach efforts to help stop these stickers from being put up. But also, there are no plans to use city funds to remove the stickers." Police have said that placing these stickers on public property is a misdemeanor, but that it's extremely difficult to prosecute without catching someone in the act of doing so. They have no current plans for dealing with the stickers either. The citizens of Shibuya are going to be stuck with these stickers for a while, it seems. After I first saw one 2 years ago, I've just been seeing them everywhere. It feels like there are even more lately. Saw another one today. These two. What the fuck, lol? There was one under the escalator at the Hikariwo. How the hell did they get one down there? Took this a few years back. I wonder if it's still there. I saw that one too. Lol, that's crazy. Gotsuan dos. I always feel sick when I see that face. I once threw up when I saw one of those stickers. Shit sucks. Whoever put them up needs to fuck off and die. I heard if you scribble on top of one of the sumo wrestler Jesus. I heard if you scribble on top of one, the sumo wrestler curses you. Anyone else notice that it's almost impossible to get the damn things off? Saw my first one today. Stop upping these things, Anon. There's a shit ton of them if you image search. I actually saw one of the stickers talking once. It was yelling Doskoi. Hey Chase, welcome back. Time for your meds, Grandpa. Somebody take a Deluode map that lists all their locations. You'll be at it for years. So if you go to Shibuya, you get stare raped by sumo wrestlers, right? I don't understand the sluts that go to Shibuya to enjoy that. They should just put up a bunch of cute anime girl stickers instead. Like Hanona or Seratan. Wonder who posted this. Then all the otaku dorks would move from Akihabara to Shibuya. I vote for Kamiyama Hangetsu. I feel pressure coming from Ryogoku. This is my prophecy unto you. Someday we'll see a sumo judge sticker. True dat. What? That was weird. There we go. At this point, only a few people were talking about the sumo wrestler stickers. Who could have known that these eerie stickers would mark the beginning of a world-changing event? Here we go again. And so, this is a magazine article about the incident that occurred on the 7th.
The 7th? The suicide that took place during a Nico Nia stream, right? I read that article.
This is apparently our main character, Taku. Takuru. Oh, look at those dorks. Yeah. Of all the science adventure main characters, I think Takuru might be the most fuckable, though. I'll be real with you. Like, let's be real. Now, admittedly, our options are Takumi, who is just this but scrawnier, less put together, and less cool. Or we've got Okabe, who's Okabe. Or Kaito, who I swear to God is like 13. The way he does his hair is like a 13-year-old. The way he dresses is like a 13-year-old. The way he carries himself is like a 13-year-old. The way he thinks and acts is still like a 13-year-old. We don't know for sure that it was a suicide, though. People on the net are calling it the Don't Look at Me case. And here's the video of the broadcast.
I saw that too. Wait, we saw it together.
And here's the building it took place in. Oh no, Ed took some more photos for me yesterday.
I know that too.
And this is the inside of his room.
Huh? No way. You took this? When? Wait, how?
Until then, Ito had been disinterestedly pointing his camera at the colorful decorations in the hallway, but this got his attention. Of course it did. No one else had seen these pictures yet. Wait, is Ito a relevant character later, Hand, or is he gonna fade to the background and disappear and we don't care about him? Is he the Daru of this game, or no, is basically what I'm asking. Last weekend, you can see the room from the 5th floor of the karaoke place on the other side of the street. Not really, but he does show up pretty often. Okay. Is there a Daru of this game? Like, is there another male character? Or can I burn Daru's voice on this dude? There are other guys, but I don't think Daru's voice would fit any of them. So yeah, you'll be fine. Alright, cool.
Seriously?
Here, this is the 5th floor. You could always count on him to be interested when it came to new information.
So what, you went in by yourself?
Huh?
I mean, you went to the karaoke place by yourself for karaoke, alone.
I didn't have a choice, did I? And it's not embarrassing, and I didn't sing, so it wasn't really karaoke. To be honest, I was a little embarrassed. The guy at the counter, who was probably just a part-timer, had stared at me suspiciously. Maybe I'd attracted his attention by coming in during the middle of the day in my uniform. And since I'd never been there before, he made me fill out membership paperwork. I didn't know how to do it, so it took a long time. And actually, I'd never been to a karaoke place before in my life.
Alright, I got these. Let's go to the next one.
I don't like him? What do you mean, Chase? This is such a pain. I don't know what that means. Does that mean you don't husbando him? I'm... Fuck, I'm tired. We went over to the gym from the second floor hallway. It was filled with students laughing over who knows what. You don't like him. Okay. The whole school was getting ready for the Culture Festival next week. This year's festival was supposed to be a big one. Hakiho Academy was the first private high school built as part of the restoration efforts, and so it was attracting a lot of attention. One reason why everyone was so excited for the school fair was the school's lax rules with lots of clubs and activities. But the biggest reason was the Shibuya Peace and Restoration Festival 2 months from now. 2 months from now, on November 9th, would mark 6 years since the Shibuya earthquake. Why 6? The 5-year anniversary fair last year had affected the whole town. Oh, they just do it every year. Okay. And since the school was in Shibuya too, it would include us. We were just a simple high school, but now our culture festival was being treated as a prelude to the big one, and supposedly there would be TV cameras filming the day of the event.
Wow, aren't those costumes copyrighted? Can they get away with that? And wait, why are they wearing them now?
Ito turned his camera toward a group of people pretending to be pro wrestlers. Ito and I were in the newspaper club, and it was our job to record the festivities. The principal had ordered that all clubs were to participate in the culture festival, and recording the festivities was our way of getting by without having to do much work. Okay, Chase. Recording video and taking photos was my hobby, and more than anything, it seemed like the way that would demand I burn the fewest calories. I couldn't see myself participating in any of the usual cult festival nonsense, like the baseball team's fried baseball ice cream stand, which was probably just regular fried ice cream in a ball. Or the Pro Wrestling Research Club's mascot pro wrestling, or even the seance that the Mystery Club and Fortune Telling Club were putting on together. They probably don't have anything better to do.
Hey, don't pull my whiskers, you'll rip them off. Oh, aren't these antennae? What do you think? If they were antennae, wouldn't you look cuter if you ripped them off? Oh, what? Do I really have to answer such a stupid question? Goddamn normies, go die in a fire.
Okay, I'm positive that I chose the right voice for this character. Hey, don't make fun of normies. I'm a normie.
Huh?
Hey, you, idiot, the camera.
He dropped it. That thing's expensive. Hey, what do you mean?
You're hurting me. Wait, the camera.
Did you betray me? Did you lose a level? When did you get a girlfriend?
Huh? I don't have a girlfriend, but forget that. Pick up the camera.
What?
That camera is almost fucking identical to the camera I own. The only difference is that this is a DSLR and mine isn't. But this isn't an on-off switch on my camera. This is the zoom and zoom in, zoom out function. If I remember correctly, my on-off switch is a button on the front of the camera, if I remember correctly. Like, not the front, but the back front. The front that faces the person taking pictures, not the front that faces out that takes the pictures. I slipped out of Ito's grasp and picked up the camera. Looks like it's safe. Good. I relaxed and handed the camera back to Ito. Sheesh, get a hold of yourself. We're not like them, we're right-siders, right? Want me to give you a lecture about it? Listen, the term normie first came into use on the Japanese internet around 2005. It referred to someone whose daily life was fulfilling and satisfying. Originally, the term netizen existed as its antonym, but that distinction barely exists anymore. That's because the net is now an integral part of everyday life. When it first came into use, simply having friends was enough to qualify one as a normie, but gradually this requirement shifted into having a lover, but this too is changing. The modern definition of normie is now someone whose life is truly satisfying. That is someone who's doing what they really want to do. In that sense, I am a normie. Therefore, the people over there who are screwing around and wasting time aren't normies at all. You need to use words correctly. Seriously, he needs to be careful. Just being a wrong-sider by itself is a sin these days. That is the exact look that I am giving the screen right now because this main character deserves it. After I finished my lecture, I saw that Ito was staring at me wordlessly. What, did he not understand it? Oh no, he understood it. He just feels bad for you. Pities you. Bro, that lecture was mad cringe. I'd walked him through the entire etymology.
Miyashiro,
What?
you're not a normie. Let's use words correctly, okay?
Huh? Why?
Normies don't talk like that.
Wait, why? And you know I've got acquaintances who are women. Of course, men too.
I just told you normies don't talk like that.
But what's the reason? And may I also add? I quickly swallowed my words. I'm studying fashion too. I'd read that new issue of Cool Cat before I put it away. There was an article in it called Utsunomiya's Fashion Leader. I thought it looked pretty good. This is pain. If I could wear that stuff, I'm sure.
What?
Nothing. I'm telling you, I'm...
Sure, whatever, man. Let's go.
As he walked away, I turned my eyes toward the group of mascot pro wrestlers. Alright, then we'll all wear the same outfit.
Oh, like Sentai Rangers. We can split the colors up. I'll be yellow.
The audience would love it, but do we have the budget? We've got your allowance, right? Shove it.
Oh, we could paint, or we could paint the colors onto our bodies. It just has to get laps, right?
I'm busy. He has a phone droid. I just noticed the phony with the tablet thing he was using is a phone droid.
Welcome back, Master. Carol.
It's not very cute, is it? Can we fix that?
Don't say that's not cute. And wait, it's not fair that only the girls are waitresses. The boys should be waitresses too. Did Garo Froggy really talk like that?
Ito had just finished recording the goings-on in the classroom. God damn it, I do this every time. 3. Let's see what a positive looks like. It doesn't matter. This was class 3-1, Ito and my class. Most of the class was busy with the Garo Froggy Cafe we were doing for the festival. Some people were ignoring the fuss and studying. Some of the otakus were reading light novels. Did they really think that if they left the paper cover from the bookstore on it, we couldn't tell it was a light novel? They were just trying their best to stay out of the way. Most people were happily making Garo Froggy decorations or putting on Garo Froggy costumes and messing around. All the clubs had to participate in the festival, but so did all the classes. No one had told me, but evidently, several months ago, we decided to do a Garofroggy-themed cafe.
You dummy, Garo Froggy has a girl's voice. Well, sure, but it's just a culture festival. We're allowed to change it.
That's wrong.
Huh?
Ito tilted his head in confusion. Trigger on!
Hey, Miyashiro.
Huh?
You think you could try on this Garo Froggy costume, Karo?
Sorry, we're busy.
Oh, sure, I'll put it on.
What?
Hey, thanks, Miyashiro. When I made it, I kept thinking that you were the perfect size.
Managing the costume on without much trouble. I slipped the top part over my head. It was pretty hot inside. And since I could barely see anything, it felt really claustrophobic. How do I look?
Just perfect. Try saying something.
I'm Garofroggy, Garo.
Oh, that's so cute. I'm gonna give you a hug.
And then I felt something soft pressed against my arm.
You hug me too, Garo Froggy.
Really? I slipped my arm around her like she asked me to.
Oh no, don't touch my butt. You're such a pervert, Garo Froggy.
Say one more time, motherfucker. Hadn't I read something once about how you could hug all the girls you wanted if you put on a costume? At the time I thought it was a bunch of crap. Did it really work? I was having the time of my life when... Oh, Garofroggy's done?
He's so cute. I want to hug him too. No fair, me too. Nope, Garo Froggy's mine. Why don't we all hug him at once? Oh, that's a great idea. Well, okay, I guess. It's okay, right, Garo Froggy? Here we go, 1, 2. Garo Froggy, I love you.
I thought about telling Ito about this, but knowing what a skirt chaser he was, he might actually take it seriously and really try to put the costume on. It was probably better not to tell him. I wouldn't want to see him sued for sexual harassment. I decided to get back on topic. I took out my Pokécom and showed it to Ito. You mean your phone droid? Fuckers. So here's the images from the 19th of this month.
Leaking noise, huh? Let me see. I haven't seen this one before. Where'd you get it?
It showed up for an instant on an aggregator wiki. I scraped it before it got deleted.
This one's got a nicer angle, right? Hey, let me up at this to Nikonia along with the stuff you took from the karaoke box.
I've already upped it to the newspaper club's online storage. Make some adjustments so it's easier to see, then do what you want with it.
Viewers have been kind of bad lately. The last video I upped got tagged with "Cameraman, do your damn job," and this angle sucks.
Ito looked really upset. Well, I know how he felt. The Hakiho Academy newspaper club had been the first in the nation to upload a video version of the school paper to Nikonia. Our papers dealt with anything involving Shibuya. We'd done a special on the Shibuya restoration once that a local paper had written about. We won a special prize at the city journalism contest, and the video got over 80,000 views despite being boring as hell. After that, though, I could understand being upset at the fact that new videos dealing with going-on in Shibuya weren't breaking 2 digits. Oh, I was the one who put that "Cameraman, do your damn job" tag on. That angle was crap, man.
Ta-da! Got it! And it's an original. I'm so tired.
A boyfriend and girlfriend walked in, evidently back from shopping. Their arms were full of Garofroggy's stuffed animals. I told you that's wrong.
Oh, what's wrong?
Ito hadn't noticed then. I looked at my classmates who were already beginning to play with their new toys and said, I've told you this before, right? You can tell your average teenager's information level by knowing what sites they go to. This was a personal theory of mine. Smartphones and Pokécoms had become a religion to the modern teenager, and the information they gained from these portable terminals had a huge influence on their lives. Some people had looked at SNSs like Twippo, Rhine, and FaceMook. Others at Chan and Niconia. So SNS is like a social media platform then. Okay. Some looked at all of those, as well as the links they found there. And then some looked at all those things, as well as their favorite celebrity blogs, the big Chan aggregators, and then whatever humor site was popular at the moment. All of these people were wrong-siders. And the scary thing was that these days, 9 out of 10... social networking sites. So yeah, social media. And the scary thing was that these days, 9 out of 10 wrong-siders were teenagers. Garofrog had launched 6 years ago with a cell phone strap that had gotten popular for reasons no one ever understood. And then lately, a combination of Garofroggy memes on Twippo, as well as an amateur anime posted to Niconia, if I remember right. It was a talking dancing frog singing anime themes. I'd created a fad, though I hated to use the word for something so stupid. It was, but it was it was in Chaos Head. But yes, it was literally Garofroggy was being used by the committee to spread something, or I didn't really understand that part of the story, to be entirely honest. It was like something about the froggies manufacturing was put into them that made it so it like spread particles that made it so the Gigalomaniac's power within Shibuya was more pronounced and easier to spread further in order to make the Noah project more powerful. I'm probably entirely off base there, but it was something along those lines. It amazed me that people honestly believed that the ribbit sounds made by the female actress in those videos were from the original. Yeah, it was very weird. Chaos Head kind of like went from like making sense to making almost no sense very quickly. Which is weird because like for the first 3/4 of the game it also made no sense. It was really only like maybe an hour, 2 hours of gameplay in which it was like actually like fucking understandable. That's why I'm actually like kind of looking forward to Noah getting a full translation, like a finished translation, because when it does, I could actually like maybe understand what the fuck is going on in that goddamn game. And I plan on replaying it. I hope stuff gets better explained in Noah too. I'm glad I'm not the only one who was fucking lost in Chaos Head for like 80% of the story. That makes me feel better. I was just waiting for you to say something and being like, no, you're a moron, Tundra, this is what was going on. But the fact that nobody fucking gets it makes me feel a lot better. Yeah, when Noah comes out, I fully intend to replay it on stream. Or that the original was the stuffed animal that had come out recently and not the phone strap. My guess was that they only got their information from Twippo. And a man can't be a waitress, he's a waiter. This was one of the reasons I joined the newspaper club. I didn't want to end up like them. Anyway.
Miyashiro?
A girl, evidently the one in charge of the waitresses, was talking to me. Ugh. Who was she again? Fujita? Fujimoto? I think there was a Fuji.
What is it, Tanaka?
Tanaka. I was totally wrong. Also, that that slight nod to robotics notes there. Not so subtle.
About the videos we're going to be playing in the classroom.
What was she talking about? Oh, right. They were going to make their own version of the Nico Nia videos where they wore costumes and danced.
Do you think we could do some close-ups or something? Instead of just shooting from the same spot the whole time?
What? Was she telling me what to do? I didn't volunteer to videotape it. You guys forced me. I feel like all the major stuff got explained, but there's definitely some details that don't get explained or poorly explained. Yeah, like the Gara Froggy thing. Like, I feel like it kind of made enough sense at the time that it was like, okay, I can wave away what didn't make sense in that section. But, like, looking back at it, it's like, none of it made enough sense that it was like, it's like memorable. Like, if you ask me what the fuck is going on in Steins Gate, I can tell you at pretty much any portion of either Steins Gate game, even though I played them several months before I played Chaos Head. Whereas, like, Chaos Head, like, I could not tell you almost any of what the fuck was going on at any point in that game. Some of that because I didn't know as I was playing it, and other things because I still don't know now. Well, it was better than being told to dance or make props myself. Oh, well, you see, you don't want to fix. You want us to move around? I think Chaos Head probably benefits a lot from replaying it, and some things probably make a lot more sense in hindsight. Probably. Almost definitely, at least the delusions do. The other thing is, I feel like I lost portions of the story to delusions. Like, either I was supposed to pick a delusion and I didn't, or I wasn't supposed to and did. Especially with, what was her fucking name? Was it Yua? Yua. It was Yua. Especially with Yua in the early bits of the game. There were a couple of delusions I did where we were, like, mid-conversation with her. Like, at the very beginning of a conversation with her. And then by the time the delusion ended, it was like, we were like, she had disappeared. And it was like fucking Okabe with Moeka after Moeka makes a D-mail all over again. It was like, wait, where the fuck did Yua go?
Fix? I don't know what you mean.
Oh, we can do it. We can do close-ups or whatever.
Really? Great. I'll write up how we want you to do it and give it to you before the shoot.
And then she fled. That surprised me. Don't scare me like that. I was so nervous I was sweating a little. Ito was looking at me and sighing. What?
No way are you a normie, man.
What?
You freak out whenever you're talking to someone new.
I can't help it. She came out of nowhere. And what's more, I made it a policy not to talk to anyone unless it was necessary. This was the first time in quite a while I'd spoken to any of my classmates but Ito. How'd it go?
He was bragging about something, right? Fix or something? What? More techno babble?
They'd already started to spread meaningless information.
Stop it.
Hearing whispers about me in the classroom brought back bad memories. I was starting to have a hard time breathing.
Hey, you okay?
I must have looked like I was in pain because Ito was looking at me with concern on his face. I quickly nodded to show that I was fine.
If you want to talk behind someone's back, do it where they can't hear you, and it's not bragging, and it's not technobabble.
It doesn't bother me. Fujita's...
Who's Fujita?
Oh, Tanaka is just a wrong-sider. That's right. It wasn't worth worrying about. She was just ignorant. Ito looked over at our classmates, other classmates who were having fun.
Jeez, they're obdurate as hell.
Obdurate? Oh. Uh-oh. What does that mean again? I knew I'd heard it before. Trying to search on my Pokemon, making sure not to let Ito see. Obdurate. Stubbornly refusing to change out of a lack of pity or remorse. Ruthless. That's right. I think that's exactly the right word. They have no remorse at all.
You got that right.
Ito nodded, annoyed. Good. Looks like he didn't find out.
The otaku at the bottom of the school caste system always have to give the people above us something to talk about.
Hmm? Hold it. The school caste system wasn't something I cared about, but... Hey, I'm not an otaku.
Not this again.
What do you mean again? I just don't like it when people are wrong. Do you want...
No, I do not want a lecture.
The definition of the word otaku is changing and the negative connotations it originally had are disappearing, but... Even now, in 2015, it still mostly serves to denote those obsessed with anime, light novels, video games, and idols. I thought I saw a boy reading a light novel turn toward me, but I don't care. I don't watch stupid anime or read stupid light novels. It's a waste of time.
Weren't you going on about how great some anime was? What was it? Blood Tune?
I said I don't watch anime. That's stupid. It's no different than people who ignore quality movies like The Two Veronicas or It's My Wonderful Life and just watch the same stuff over and over. And say anyone who hasn't seen the show is a casual.
I get it, I get it.
Or people who lie about having read books like The Cities in Sequence or Winter's Garden and just read light novels all day. The word otaku refers to people like that who only bother to absorb information about subjects they enjoy.
Camera otaku always seem like a bunch of weirdos to me. As long as they're not bothering anyone, who cares? I'm a Johnny otaku myself.
Stop it, please. More than anything, I don't want to be the same as you people. And then the door to the classroom flew open. You people, yeah, I know, right? A female student was looking in. She must have been in a hurry because she was a little out of breath. She brushed her long hair out of her eyes and was about to come inside.
No, what's up? Oh, Empress, perfect timing.
The whole class started to talk to her. Who is this? And who are those? Yeah, titties for days. I'm glad I wasn't the only person who noticed. I'm assuming she's gonna be relevant, so Hand, can you give me a baseline for her? Titty to neck ratio. You had to point out the fucking neck. God damn it. No, I'm not gonna be able to see anything but. Holy shit. Literally a giraffe. No, it's more like if you stuck an elephant's head on a giraffe's neck. And then gave it some huge ass titties. You know, okay. Here is a great point to Save. Do you have an older sister type voice? I have one that's close enough that I can run with. But I'm losing my voice.